Open it up, turn on the book light, everybody. Welcome back to Next Chapter, Planning Your Retirement Story. And it does take planning, doesn't it? You can't just wing it over there. We don't have a freestyling or slam poetry in this bit. No, it takes a really good plan. And so why not get a financial advisor from Executive Financial Group like we do every episode, Stephen Sabo out of the Butler, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area on to help us leaf through this. Stephen, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Doug. Thank you. It's spring's finally hitting around here. We're getting some warm weather. The sun's poking out, and I couldn't be more excited for that. So,
well, and as an outdoorsman of sorts, right, liking to hike and camp, I think that's even more welcome to you than some of the others.
It's great. It's a beautiful time to be in the woods. It's a beautiful time to get outside, just seeing everything kind of come to life. And, it's refreshing after being in the winter months for so long. You kind of feel like you're coming out of hibernation. So it's exciting time, and I'm ready for it. I can tell you that much.
Just a man of the woods. And okay, anyway, get in touch with Stephen and the team there at Executive Financial Group, 724-283-2806. You can find them on Facebook. There's even a YouTube channel now that posts these podcast episodes. Of course, you can go to executivefinancialgroup.com and some cool, splashy stuff y'all been doing on Facebook, actually sharing clips from the show too. So whether it's share the podcast itself, folks, or whether it's actually sharing links to the full episodes, be sure if you know someone in your circles, hand it off to them and get that going. That's a good way to be proactive and paying forward some good information you've gotten. And today, we're just a couple of weeks into this daylight saving business. And I mean, first off, I'm going to share a story about how that affects your health. But Stephen, okay, your stance on time changes. The time change, if your favorite time change, you need to hire a PR rep because it's taking a dive in public opinion. Where does Stephen Sabo stand on shifting the clocks?
You know what? I say get rid of it. That's my opinion. Especially coming from here and, having these cold winters, and it just, after so long, it gets miserable. Once it starts getting dark at, 4 o'clock, it just feels like, you're shutting down and everything's you're in hibernation mode at that point. It's hard to get out of that. And, I don't mind the winter at all, but hey, keep the sunlight going a little bit longer for me and make it a little bit easier on us to get through this. So
I just don't like the logistics of changing the time, and I hate standard time change in fall because you end up with being dark at like 5:30.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, gross. You want to go climb a bed at 7 p.m. after your hot, warm glass of milk, okay? It's like, come on. Like, let me get my dentures out first, all right? So, all right, but look, time change, it does affect your health, and particularly daylight saving time. Found an article in a Time magazine, time.com, the magazine, time.com, all right? But it basically says that, people have just recently sprung forward, but basically experts are saying that it's not just that you're a little more groggy. There's a higher percentage chance of fatal car crashes. All right.
That's right.
And it impacts your health. A UCLA professor of medicine actually said that moving the clocks ahead an hour can upset circadian rhythms. Big surprise. Mm-hmm. And then that increases depression and anxiety and can cause now I didn't know this, an increase in strokes and heart attacks. All right. Not to mention people being a little bit truant from work. All right. So nonetheless, you see where we stand on as far as time change goes. But I do think about in our finances, Stephen, you could, without springing forward, be caught behind and really feel some anxiety if you don't make some changes. What are some things that people could be proactive about as far as planning their financial, instead of just letting things hit them, getting ahead of the curve?
Yeah, you know what, Doug? That's a great question. There's a lot of good things that you should be doing, at least that we think anyway, to get a head start on the year. Now's a good time to, obviously taxes are a big focus. At this time of the year, everybody's getting them done. The deadline's coming up here in order to get your taxes done. So if you owe on taxes every year, if you're that type of person that owes on taxes, making sure that you're getting in your first quarterly payment and kind of setting up a routine for your quarterly payments is one thing that we would suggest. Another one that we like to kind of take a look at right now is, even if you aren't ready to take your RMD, planning to take your RMD now and figuring out when you want it and all that and getting it set up so that you don't miss that. And I'll give you a good example why. Last year, this past year anyway, we had a client who we were trying to get her to, kind of figure out a date and see when she wanted to take her RMD. And we waited and we waited. Well, we get to about mid-November. And we said, hey, these companies, they want you to take them at a certain time. They don't want you to wait until the very last minute. And we kind of did that. And she was taking a charitable distribution from her account to lessen the amount of the RMD that she had to take. And so we had to get those processed before she took the rest of her RMD. Well, whenever we sent in the forms for the company, they came back and said, some things were wrong. Well, by the time that we had to try and get the paperwork corrected it in, they had sent her the full RMD, which is not what she wanted. She wanted to take a portion of that as a charitable, give that to a charity. And so now we had to undo this whole thing, and it became a nightmare. It became a mess, and it spilled into the beginning of this year, which is going to be a problem for her on her taxes. It's all solvable. We fixed everything and we got it all resolved. But the point of that is the longer you wait, the more time it is for something to get messed up like that. And so we say, hey, even if you don't want to take them right now, that's okay. But let's talk about it. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's get on the phone. Let's plan something, and let's set up a date for you to take those RMDs. Because, again, there's so many things. You start to, you get into the summer, nobody wants to focus on any of that stuff. They're enjoying the weather. Right. They're enjoying their time with their family. And so, that breezes by you. And then all of a sudden you're into the fall and all these things start happening, holidays and stuff. So it's easy to put on the back burner, and we don't want to see that. So RMDs is a big one, taxes and tax payments, and even just strategies for the year, right? Now's a good time to say, okay, especially now we have a new president. We see some changes, and it's a good time to sit down and say, hey, what's going on in your portfolio? Is there anything that needs changed? Is there anything that we need to fix? Is there anything that we can be proactive on right now that we need to do to set you up for success later in the future? So, those are all important to us. And we think those are a couple of things in order to spring forward, if you will.
Now, I feel guilty. I feel like when I do stuff wrong, I'm the only one. And then I just talk to other adults and I say, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, right.
You talked about this shifting to the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so easy when you have your everyday stuff like grocery shopping and laundry, and of course going to work or schlepping the kids around or whatever the deal is. Right. It's easy to get behind on this stuff that's fungible, that you can wait one more day and it's not going to kill you. What would you say to someone who keeps putting this stuff off? You told the story about the person you talked to and their RMDs, right? The lady you talked to and their RMDs. What would you say to someone who just, I'll get around to it? Here's me personally. I'll get around to opening that high yield savings account. Or what would you say when people are a little lax in preparing and instead need to spring forward into it?
Yeah, we talk to people all the time and they say, hey, we're going to wait until such and such a time. And hey, that's all right. That's fine if you want to wait. But, we've seen it time and time again. Things can happen. And so we want to tell people, let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way so that you don't have to worry about it and you can enjoy the things that you're doing. If you're on vacation or trying to golf or do whatever it is that you're doing, by putting all this stuff on the back, and here I am constantly calling you and saying, hey, we still got to worry about this. Hey, we still need to work on these things. That might get a little bit annoying hearing from me all the time. So, we like to try and get it out of the way and just say, let's get it set up now. Things can change. Nothing's set in stone around here. So we tell people, hey, but let's get it knocked out. Let's take care of these things so we don't have to worry about it. We aren't chasing each other around. And, even for people that are retired, we make jokes all the time that it seems like the retired folks that we work with are busier than the people that aren't retired yet, right? That are still dealing with their kids and stuff. It always seems like they have a ton of stuff to do. They're out and about. They're enjoying themselves. And, it's easy to forget about things and put it on the back burner. But we really like to get in front of people and say, all right, you know what? If we're talking about it now, let's make a decision. Let's not wait around. Let's make a decision on it and let's get it done and over with so that we don't have to worry about things. And then we can focus on the other stuff throughout the year. Nobody likes to cram everything together in one appointment. And we can't always do that sometimes in an appointment. So, we want to make sure that we're spreading it out and we're taking our time with things and we're not making hurried or rushed decisions, which can happen a lot when you're putting it off.
That RMD has to be taken by December 31st. Wait, November right. What? Oh, wait, this didn't come back. And then it affected their taxes later on. You never know. And by the way, you don't know too, especially as you get older. Okay, I'm going to wait till October to take care of whatever the thing is.
Right.
Well, then suddenly your child has a hardship. Your adult child has a hardship. There's a grandkid that's born a month early. You have a back surgery you weren't expecting. And then suddenly your RMD planning, I'm keep harping on that example.
Yep.
You're not 2 months ahead anymore. Suddenly you're up against the buzzer. So if someone's hearing this and they now feel that pinch of urgency. They're like, whoa, wait a second. I really should take a different perspective on that. And they want to talk to you, Stephen. How do they get in touch? What's the first meeting like? And then what are the different ways you could guide them?
Yeah, I mean, go to our website, executivefinancialgroup.com. You can find all kinds of information about us there, a little, bios about us and our other employees, about how we work, our process. Pick up the phone and call us. It's pretty easy. 724-283-2806 is the number. So pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what, Stephen? I was thinking about coming in. I've never worked with somebody. We're pretty nice people around here. We want to help you. And, we think we do a good job at doing that. But give us a call. Come in. We're going to sit down. We're going to learn a little bit about you. We're going to ask some information about you. It's kind of like a doctor's appointment. We want to know your circumstances, what you're feeling, what you're doing, what you're not doing right now, so that we can get a good understanding of the type of person you are and sit down and create a plan for you. We want to sit down and work through all of these things. It's not just to come in. We're going to give you that quick, hey, take this and everything is going to be solved. No, it's going to take some time, and that's okay. We're going to work through it together, and we're going to come up with a plan that is going to be good for you no matter what's happening in the world. And we want you to be able to put some stuff onto the back burner, get this done and over with, and then it's just about maintaining, right? Then it's a check-in every once in a while. How are things going, Stephen? Do we need to change anything? Or here's an update on our lives. How's that going to affect us? Once we get the bulk of it done up front, it's pretty easy to maintain and go from there unless you have any sort of major life changes. So don't be afraid. Pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot me an email, go to our website, and you can type in your information and have us give you a call. There's a lot of ways to do it. But again, executivefinancialgroup.com. You can find all kinds of information there. Go to our Facebook page, Executive Financial Group, and find out some stuff about us there. So
yeah, I love the stuff you're sharing on that Facebook page. Hey, when you go to executivefinancialgroup.com, mash the contact button. People always say smash that subscribe button. Yeah, smash the contact button. All right. Set up that appointment. And there's also too, there's the just getting the first time ever making these plans. But then there's I haven't talked to my advisor in a while, or maybe you realize your advisor's not so proactive in talking to you, and you hear how proactive Stephen and the Executive Financial Group team is. And so maybe it's time to have that first talk with them, so then you can have those periodic talks and tailor those plans accordingly. Another thing I know you all do is legacy planning. That's an easy one to put off because while you're worried about, okay, I've got these deadlines to be for tax season or for required minimum distributions, then there's I got to think about the end of my life, right? That's an easy one to put off, and maybe it scares people too. That's just another one to get ahead on.
Nobody likes to talk about that stuff. Nobody likes to think about it. And unfortunately, it is something that, we're all going to deal with at one point or another in our lives. And so it is better to deal with it up front and get it over and done with. And then, hey, we hope you're here for as long as you want to be here. We want to have great long relationships with our clients, but that's something that everybody has to deal with. And so, we think it's important to get it taken care of. Again, you wait till that last minute, and sometimes there's problems that you can't fix because we waited a little bit too long, and it can cause a headache. It can cause all kinds of issues for you down the road, or for your heirs or whoever that you want that money to go to. And so, let's take care of it. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot of upfront work. It just takes a little bit of thinking and planning. But then from there, it's easy to change and shift and do what you want, and you don't have to think that much about it. But if you let it weigh on you, and you're always running away from it, then it's going to cause you more stress and more problems down the road. So come on in. Let's get these things taken care of as well.
Yeah, that dragon or that little monster that was under your bed, you just keep ignoring it, think it'll go away, and suddenly it takes up the whole house, right? So again,
that's right.
Dial 724-283-2806 or go to executivefinancialgroup.com. Well, Stephen, thank you very much for spending some time there. Spring pokes out and the thaw begins. Just another reminder, with the clocks moving forward, with Butler, Pennsylvania starting to thaw out, time to spring forward into preparation. Thanks for guiding us through it.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. No, I really appreciate all your help with this. And like I said, come on in and see us. It's never too late to give us a call or reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you and love to talk to you about your finances.
It's never too early either. He is Stephen Sabo, financial advisor at Executive Financial Group. Thank you, Stephen, for that. Thanks to our producer, Daniel Sallerson, for getting this published and put out the show there and helping us stay on top of our analytics, all these different things. Man, Daniel does a great job. And thanks to all of you for listening in. This has been Next Chapter, Planning Your Retirement Story. Find it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Share the link with your peeps. Make sure people in your life know about this great information that you've been getting. I'm Doug Turnbull, and we will see you all here very soon.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
The opinions expressed by Stephen Sabo and guests on this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of this podcast station. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results. Any strategies mentioned may not be suitable for everyone. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. Before acting on any information mentioned, please consult with a qualified tax or investment advisor to determine if it is suitable for your specific situation. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to subject covered. Investment advisory services offered through Virtue Capital Management, LLC, VCM, a registered investment advisor. VCM and Executive Financial Group are independent of each other. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 670429. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Stephen Sabo and/or Executive Financial Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.